The short break is over and fights are back. I know a lot of you thought the UFC Vegas 107 was last weekend, but it wasn't. We had a week off from Memorial Day, and it is next weekend. You may have also already seen me break down this card, but this is a materially different fight card. We've had multiple fights canceled. We've had some switcheroo opponents, and this is effectively an entirely different fight card. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 107 fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and bets. But before we look at this card, let's look at the slate that we're on. We're coming off a week off, and while that sucks, I personally hate weeks off because I watch all of our numbers completely plummet. When we have consistent fights, I see the subscriber count go up, the view count go up, the membership numbers go up. And when we have weeks off, some of those numbers stay the same, but viewership drops. Subscribers don't grow as quickly, and it really stresses me the hell out. But we have a nice little stretch coming up. This weekend, we have UFC Vegas 107. Next weekend, we have UFC 316. The weekend after that, we have UFC Atlanta. The weekend after that, we have UFC Baku. We have a bunch of really good fight cards coming up. International Fight Week is right around the corner. So if you do want to go to the website and become a premium member, you can unlock every single thing that we do. All the picks, all the bets, all the tools. One of those bets, the tried and true, the always stable, the beacon of stability, safety parlay. If you don't know what this is, it's one single bet. We have many bets on the board. You just saw on this slide, there are already 15 units of bets on the board across multiple events, not just this event. But one of those bets is a safety parlay. It is a parlay that I put on the board every week. We call it safe for a reason, and it continues to be. Over the long term, it hits at remarkable accuracy. In the short term, we have hit 6 of the last 7. Unlock the safety parlay, every other pick, every other bet, and every other tool that we have on the website right now at WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 for an entire month, and that month will get you all of these fight cards. This is why I emphasize the cards that are coming up. Get you excited for what's around the corner. And that $10 will get you everything for all of these cards. Check it all out right now at WeWantPicks.com. We do have an app. That safety parlay, all the tools, everything that we offer is available inside of the app. During this off week, you got a few push notifications because we are still placing bets. We are still moving this train forward. The app is 100% free. Just find it now in the App Store. Just search We Want Picks. And UFC 316 is a pay-per-view. And if you've been around here for a little while, you know that we film vlogs for pay-per-views. Content's a little different, but you get to hang out with the boys. We cook some good food. You get live reactions to the fights. You hang out with me for the day. We also open up mail. People send us letters. If you want to send a letter, if you have a small business, you want to shout out your small business, here is the address. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406 in Prosper, Texas, 75078. That intro was less than 3 minutes long. This is the new era. Let's see if it works. We're going to open up the UFC Vegas 107 fight card with Rayanne dos Santos, and she is taking on Ardelean. I saw an Instagram post, not an OnlyFans, an Instagram post from Ardelean talking about 3-month fight camp. You're going to see the differences. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. I've been pretty high on Ardelean in the past. Not for creepy weirdo ways because she does like teasing content. Not for that reason. I've been high on her in the past because I'm like, she's tough as shit. And sometimes in the women division, all you need to do is be tough as shit. She moves forward. She gets in your face. She's not great at anything. She's not a great wrestler. She's not a great striker, but she is tough. She will take her beating. She is not afraid to engage. She will continue to move forward. I do think her last 2 fights were kind of unfortunate. Her UFC debut, I was positive she won that fight. She's coming off that loss to Melissa Martinez where we saw pressure, we saw the toughness. She was also saved by a referee mistake in the third. And that was she lost that fight. That wasn't like her UFC debut where she got screwed. She's in for another tough one against Rayanne dos Santos. I think the UFC signed Alice because of her social media presence, and they're done with her. They're trying to get her out of here because this is likely her 3rd loss in a row. She's taking on Rayanne dos Santos, potentially Rayanne Amanda, depending on what book you have. She's an aggressive grappler. She's got some decent striking as well. She's really light on her feet. She'll move around quite a bit, constant movement. She doesn't get overly aggressive with the wrestling, but when she does get it to the ground, she's got a really good balance of ground and pound and looking for a position and then a submission. She'll pressure. She'll stay busy. She will look to get finishes. She's coming off that loss to Pooja Tamar, which I thought was bullshit. I thought she won that fight. Although, even though she's a forward pressure grappler, she didn't grapple in that matchup, so she kind of did that to herself. I mentioned I've picked Ardelean in the past. It has not worked out for me. And bragging, and actually, That was coming out of my mouth very aggressively and bragging like I was going to trash her for bragging about the extended fight camp. No, I didn't intend that. The point I was going to make is talking about how long your fight camp is, I don't think is going to directly translate to skills. You don't get good at these things overnight. And I know that's a trap a lot of people fall into. How many times have you guys seen in the comment section, well, so-and-so is at Fighting Nerds for this camp. So-and-so is training with Hamza. So obviously through osmosis, he's going to be phenomenal now. That's not how this works. You don't get better in an extended fight camp. At least not marginally, like at least not enough to make something meaningful happen in a fight. What could happen in an extended fight camp is you are in better shape than normal, so you can push a pace you don't normally push, but you don't go from not having great takedowns to having great takedowns in 16 weeks. That's just not what happens. That is a lifetime of hard work. So if Alice was struggling with cardio in the past, and I see that she has an extended fight camp, maybe it'll matter. But seeing that she struggles with the actual skills of a fist fight, and then seeing the extended fight camp, that doesn't make much difference for me. Now, maybe a plus 3.5 bet. She's a massive underdog here. Plus 250 in the women's division is pretty big. So maybe we'll do a plus 3.5 bet. We'll take a look when all of those props drop. If you don't know what that is, that's basically buying the spread. You buy points on the judges' scorecards. There's a million ways to do the math, but the easiest way to communicate it is it's one judge or whatever, 3 judges, one time each, score one single round for Alice Ardelean on all the scorecards. As long as she loses a 29-28, wins outright, wins the fight, then you can go ahead, get yourself paid. Loses a split decision, you would get paid. So we'll see what those odds are when they drop. We'll take a look because while I do think Alice isn't good enough here, it wouldn't be absurd to win a single round on the judges' scorecards. Then we have MarQuel Mederos taking on Bolaji Oki. This is an interesting matchup, and these odds continue to widen. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a bit surprised. I understand that Bolaji Oki is fast, and he's accurate, and he's a little dangerous. But I also see how good MarQuel Mederos can be. I get him being the dog because of the danger on the Oki side, but I am surprised at how much of a dog he is becoming as time goes on. MarQuel Mederos is a good striker. He strings together combinations well. He will put out volume. He's insanely comfortable in fights, and he flows really, really well. He is primarily a striker, and when I said striker, I was just going to continue to move forward and hope you didn't notice, but you probably did, because every week I put out these videos, and every week there's a timestamp of me just tongue-twisting something, and then it's, bro. You know what? I sit here for an hour breaking down 22 to 24 to 28 different fighters depending on the fight card. And every now and then a word will slip through. Let's just, hey. Thanks, Ange. Thanks for the video. No problem. Sorry for the tongue tie. He can be a good wrestler. Primarily a striker, though. He can grapple. He's got some slick takedowns. The takedown defense is good as well. And he has some submissions. He's coming off that close win over Austin Hubbard where the striking looked really good. And he was very defensively sound, which is a key in this fight, but he slowed down. The cardio isn't what we thought it would be. He's taking on Bolaji Oki. Bolaji Oki is a busy striker. He's got a good jab, lots of power. He'll pump that jab to set things up. He's got good takedown defense. He's got a fast sprawl, solid takedowns when he wants to use them. He also slows down as fights go on, but he can remain dangerous because of that power. His biggest issue is his defense. Someone with a busy jab, MarQuel. Somebody who can stay in his face, MarQuel, can give him a little bit of trouble. He's coming off that unfortunate loss to Chris Duncan where he was winning that fight. And then he did some dumb shit, got caught in a guillotine. Bolaji Oki is a good size favorite here, and for some reason that continues to widen. He's fast, he's clean, he's powerful, but I do think that MarQuel's striking defense, he is defensively sound. You can see it in how few times he is hit by his opponents. And I understand, I'm not an idiot. I see that Bolaji Oki's number is less. These significant strikes absorbed. But I think what's going to end up happening in this fight is Bolaji's going to start chasing, start throwing wild. And MarQuel is going to land that jab, stay in his face, move a little bit, stay out of the way, and make something happen. MarQuel Mederos is going to be my pick. This is very similar to the last fight. If these odds continue to widen, we might get a good deal on MarQuel Mederos plus 3.5. Then I don't even need him to win the fight. I just need him to win a single round. And if he wins one round, we will get paid. That is likely a minus money bet as opposed to a money line, which is plus money as of right now. But you're getting the insurance. You're getting the safety net. You don't wean them to win. Just kind of win. One round. You can check that out. Once I place it, you'll get a push notification. So make sure you have the app downloaded, installed, or just check it on the website, WeWantPicks.com. All the bets are there under analysis. You'll see official bets. You'll see all the picks. You'll see everything. And then there's the whole tool section with all the tools. WeWantPicks.com. Then we have Jordan Leavitt taking on Kurt Holobaugh. This is a fight that people can completely disagree with me, and I'm surprised. I am shocked. I am surprised the community is rallying behind Jordan Leavitt as much as they are. I expected most people to agree that he's a bit of a jiu-jitsu nerd. He's a throwback, but I've got people commenting, no, his striking is great. Dude, his striking is really good. What the fuck? When have we seen Jordan Leavitt's striking be really good? That doesn't exist. That's an oxymoron. That's an oxymoron. Jordan Leavitt good striking is not a... If you go ask ChatGPT, does Jordan Leavitt have good striking? It's going to fail. It'll be like, I'm sorry you have an extra chromosome. Here's a recommendation for some mental health officials. And it's going to send you to an academy where you wear a helmet in a padded room. Because clearly, your brain isn't firing on all cylinders. If you think Jordan Leavitt can win this fight, sure. But it better be because of the grappling. But the people talking about Jordan Leavitt can win this fight striking. What? I think some of you just say shit because that is a impossibility. If you want to sit here and say Jordan Leavitt can take down Kurt Holobaugh because Kurt Holobaugh's takedown defense is not great, that's an argument you could have. If you want to say Jordan Leavitt can win the striking, yeah, you got to be trolling, right? You have to be trolling. That cannot be an actual position. Jordan Leavitt is an old school grappler. He's like a throwback to the 90s. He's like a Hoist Gracie, but a little more athletic. He's got very good grappling. The wrestling kind of sucks, and the striking kind of sucks. That's it. That's Jordan Leavitt. So if he can get the fight to the ground, yeah, he's good. And you got to worry. If he can't, okay, well, your head's going to be bouncing backwards, and good luck diving at legs or pulling guard. And he's taking on Kurt Holobaugh. And Kurt Holobaugh does have some takedown defense holes. 39% takedown defense. Not great if you're on the Kurt Holobaugh side in a matchup like this. But what he also has is good forward pressure, good striking, and also very good jiu-jitsu. I haven't seen them roll like in jiu-jitsu only, so I don't know who has better jiu-jitsu. I would assume it's Jordan Leavitt. But Kurt Holobaugh is a legitimate grappler. He's not a guy that's got some grappling. He's a legitimate grappler. And then on top of it, he will get into a dogfight and move forward, and he will strike with you. I think he just beat Alexander Hernandez. I think he got screwed in that decision. So we've got a guy with a very one-dimensional game in Jordan Leavitt versus a guy that at least has two dimensions. He's got striking and he's got grappling. It's the wrestling that's a little iffy. So they both have shit wrestling. They both have good grappling. One of them has better striking. I'm going to go that direction. I'm going Kurt Holobaugh. I think he can win this fight. And I do have a half a unit bet on him at plus money. Maybe this is another plus 3.5 situation if these odds continue to widen. But I just, in 2025, to get behind somebody who is 90% one skill is tough. And that one skill being grappling is even tougher. If the one thing you're phenomenal at is striking, we've seen Poatan win a belt, win 2 belts, being a phenomenal striker and okay at the other stuff. The grappling, we don't see much of that unless it's wrestling. Unless you're Torres Finney. Then we got Ketlen Vieira taking on Macy Chiasson in a fight that was supposed to happen a few months ago. I know I opened this video with there's a bunch of new matchups on this card, and the fight after this is going to be one of those. But for now, we're breaking down this fight for what might be the 10th time because I broke this down many months ago at UFC Vegas 84. But we got giant Ketlen Vieira taking on very tall Macy Chiasson. Two of the larger women in this division. They are both tall. They'll both get after it. Ketlen Vieira is pretty powerful, come forward striker. Solid takedowns. And she'll work really well on top. She'll march forward. She will throw heavy, lock you up, either trip you, drag you down from the cage, and then get you to the ground. On top, she's got good pressure. She'll pound away. She's not very fast, but she is very athletic for her size. She's very strong, and she's fundamentally very sound. She is coming off that one-sided loss to Kayla Harrison, but Kayla Harrison in a couple of weeks here might end up being the world champion. She's taking on Macy Chiasson. Macy Chiasson is very tall for this weight, way taller than Jacob. Have you ever seen Jacob stand next to Macy Chiasson? No, because he's embarrassed. He knows what will happen. First of all, they have the exact same haircut, and then she's taller. So it's going to be embarrassing for him. So they're not going to be side by side. You're just never going to see it. And that's crazy because she lives nearby. But I get it. If I was a short king, it's like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is short as hell. And what they do is they cast all really short people around him in his movies, so he doesn't look as short. And that's Jacob. Jacob's like, oh, I'll take a picture with fucking Adrian Yanez. Here we go. David Onama. Why is he not taking a picture with Macy Chiasson? Where's that? Where's that picture? I was with him. We were at Cosm. Cosm is like the little sphere, the giant screen that's like an IMAX, but it's way bigger and you get the special camera angles. We went there for UFC 308. There's a whole vlog. While we were there, he met Megan Anderson, former UFC bantamweight. Maybe she was a featherweight. She's tall as shit. She's every bit of 6 foot. He met her, went down, said hi. She stood up. You think he took a picture? No. Macy Chiasson is very tall, and she uses that length really well. She'll keep the arms out there. She'll keep that jab. She'll give a nice Muay Thai teep kick. She uses the length very, very well. She got a positive striking differential. The power is okay, mostly from the length. If you can get past her length and you stay in her face, then you could have some success gritting her to the ground, touching her up in the pocket. But if you can't, and if you stay on the end of the strikes, you are going to have a hard time. She has added grappling to her game plan, and that's proven to be working out for her. She has 12 takedowns in her last 4 fights. She is coming off of that stoppage win over Mayra Bueno Silva, but I was there in person, and even if I wasn't, I would have seen on the broadcast. She was losing that fight. Go check the judges' scorecard. She literally was losing that fight. Cut Mayra a little bit, and the fight ultimately got stopped because of the cut. So while she wasn't she won the fight, but it wasn't going her way, if that makes any sense. And obviously, she caused the cut. But you get what, guys, relax. You get what I'm saying. I mentioned this was originally booked back at UFC Vegas 84. I picked Ketlen then. I'm picking her again. Not much has changed since then, other than Macy is losing a fight, wins by cut, and Ketlen Vieira just lost to potentially the future world champion. And back then, Ketlen Vieira was a 3-1 favorite. Right now, she is barely the favorite, and I would not be surprised if this flipped. I've talked to a lot of people who think Macy's going to win this fight, and that's not terrible. If you think Macy wins this fight, there's an intelligent argument to be had. She is long, she is lean. Ketlen might be on the downswing while Chasey's on the upswing. I'm still going to pick Ketlen. I don't think the distance striking from Macy is going to matter because Ketlen's whole thing is get in your face, push you against the cage. And if she gets in Macy's face, pushes her against the cage, she could drag her to the ground and just start beating on her. I don't think she'll get that same fluke cut that Mayra Bueno Silva got. So Ketlen Vieira is going to be the pick. I think the size, the strength, the forward pressure is going to be the difference. Let's just hope that losing to Kayla Harrison hasn't sucked any of the wind out of her sails and now she's feeling defeated. Then we have a brand new matchup in Trevin Giles taking on Andreas Gustafsson. Andreas Gustafsson was supposed to fight somebody entirely different, but that person is now gone. Andreas Gustafsson is now fighting Trevin Giles. They did a couple of switcherinos, a little bit of a switcheroo. And we talked about this on the live call-in show the other day. And on the live call-in show, Bet Sam, Jacob all said, oh, Trevin Giles is stepping up on short notice. Trevin Giles will be the favorite. And I said, no, he won't. Why would Trevin Giles be the favorite? And then what they did is they listed everybody that Trevin Giles has lost to. And that's always an insane argument to me. Oh, but he lost to this guy. Who gives a shit? Didn't we all just fall into that trap with freaking Thiago Moises? Oh, he lost to Islam. He lost to Joel Alvarez. Oh, yeah, he lost. He lost. Why are we using getting your ass kicked by those people as the bar for he should win this fight? And we're not going to do it here. We have Andreas Gustafsson, solid grappler. He's got some actual wrestling skills. And like most wrestlers, he will come forward. He'll throw a ton of strikes. They're designed to back you up against the cage, and then he'll take you down, and he'll start working. When he gets you to the ground, he will soften you up. He's got some elbows. He'll look for a submission. And despite being a grappler, he's got some very real power in his hands, and he's always looking for a finish. He is taking on very short notice, about a week and a half, Trevin Giles. Trevin Giles, every time we break him down, same thing. Wildly athletic, great jab. I haven't seen much change, but being wildly athletic and having a great jab is actually enough in some of these divisions. He's very light in his feet. He does a good job moving in and out of rage. He's constantly pumping that jab. At one point in time, him and the announcers would talk about that he might have the best jab in the UFC because he does use it the way you're supposed to. He keeps it in your face. He's still moving his feet. He's setting up the other hand. And there's just always something for you to think about with that jab coming at you. He does set a nice pace. He does keep that in your face, but it has not been working for him lately. He is coming off his third loss in a row, this time to Mike Malott, where he did defend the takedowns, but he was just outstruck. And anybody, as I mentioned, who is going to pick Trevin Giles here is going to defend their position by listing the people that Trevin Giles lost to. Not people he beat, only people he lost to. Oh, he looked good before getting knocked out by Prates. Guys, he lost to Drakus and Michael Morales. Those are losses. They're losses. They all prove that he cannot beat any of the top fighters. It doesn't prove that he can beat the other fighters. And don't bother commenting that he beat Roman Dolidze. That was a bad decision. He did not, in fact, beat Roman Dolidze. And that was 4 years ago before Roman had any sense of cardio whatsoever. The reality here is that Trevin Giles is an athletic guy with a great jab. He also has not evolved at all. I haven't seen any new tools. I haven't seen him do anything better than be athletic and have a good jab. And like I said, that can get you through some fights, but not all of them. I do think that Andreas Gustafsson is going to stay in Trevin's face, not care about the jab, look to get this to the ground, bob big, heavy strikes over the top, because he's going to mix in the grappling. The last few Trevin Giles opponents were only looking to strike. Prates was only striking with him, and that fast jab and the side-to-side movement was working for him for a little bit. Mike Malott attempted one single takedown. Outside of that, was just winning the striking exchanges. Andreas Gustafsson is going to be my pick, but I would never, not in this fight, not in any fight, pick a UFC debut at minus 165 and bet on him. So we're going to leave this alone. Trevin Giles does have a good jab and athletic ability, and against the UFC debut, you just never know. I'm picking Andreas Gustafsson, though, because you got to make a pick. I'm probably not betting on this fight. Then we have Allan Nascimento taking on Jafel Filho. This is another rebooked fight. This was supposed to happen back in last August, but it was canceled when Allan had to pull out. At the time, Allan was a massive favorite. Jafel Filho was a plus 175 underdog. Last week when I broke this down, he was minus 115. The odds look to be swinging back towards where they were. He is plus 143 now. So obviously the public money, people are starting to wake up, come out of their holiday coma, and they're starting to bet on Allan Nascimento, and I do not agree. I think Jafel Filho is going to win this fight. Allan Nascimento is a fun striker. He likes to grapple as well. He doesn't have a lot of offensive wrestling, or defensive for that matter, with a 16% takedown defense. But he does have pretty good jiu-jitsu. He has no problem getting into a brawl. If he is taken down, he'll work sweeps. The problem is, if he can't get the sweeps or create a scramble, he's going to stay on bottom the whole fight, just getting pounded on. He's got okay power in his hands, but a very low 26% takedown accuracy, and as I mentioned, a 16% takedown defense. He's coming off that upset win over Carlos Hernandez, where he was fast, he landed in combinations, and he was just light years ahead on the ground. But being light years ahead on the ground against somebody like Jafel Filho is not an easy task. He's a fast-paced guy. He will engage in a firefight on the feet or work in the takedowns. He can get wild with the striking, but he's fast and he throws heat. His takedown defense is solid. His offensive takedown is pretty good as well. He's mostly looking to strike early, but if you pressure him, he doesn't really love it. He will start to grapple. He famously had Muhammad Makayev's knee pointing in the wrong direction. I would go check that out if you haven't seen it. He's coming off that first round submission win over O'Day Osborne, where O'Day literally landed zero Z-E-R-O strikes. I thought Jafel was going to win this when it was booked before, and I think he's going to win it now. He's very dangerous. He's good everywhere. He's been the far more active fighter of the two. Jafel only has one single decision, which does worry me here because Allan is tough. He's good. He's a very good grappler. I don't know if Jafel's going to be able to submit him, so we likely have a decision here. And as long as Jafel has the success in at least the first two rounds, then we should be good here. I'm going to pick Jafel. And if these odds continue to widen, I mentioned he was plus 175 last time. He's back up to plus 143 after being minus 115. If that continues to move, I'm going to go ahead and place a bet. Maybe I do an inside the distance decision, no action, and likely get a refund there. But Jafel Filho is going to be the pick. I think we've seen a lot of really good stuff out of him, and why Allan Nascimento has a couple of wins, I haven't seen, what's that big win for Allan? Jafel beat O'Day. He almost beat Makayev. And when I say almost, I know I just ranted about they're going to talk about Trevin Giles' losses. But he literally had Muhammad Makayev's knee pointing in the wrong direction. How that didn't snap in half is beyond me. Jafel Filho is a guy, and I'm picking that guy. I'm also picking you to be the recipient of $50. If you go to wewantpicks.com/bets, you'll see we have quite a few sportsbook partners. Those are affiliate partners. If you use the link to sign up with any one of them and you make a new account, you make the deposit, we will get paid commission. And then I will take $50 of that commission and I will give it to you. It's a very straightforward process, but you have to use the link. You have no idea how many emails I get. Hey, I filled out the form. When do I get my bonus? And I check, hey, dude, I just checked the portal. Your account number is not in there. Well, I used the promo code. Motherfucker. Tell me when the fuck I said promo code. Show me. Show me a clip of me saying the promo code to use here. And I'll send you the... There's no promo code. It's the link. You got to use the link. wewantpicks.com/bets. Use the links on that page. And as long as you do that, you're good to go. We'll say $50. Then you can check out the website. The rest of the website. Start banging around. I opened up this whole video talking about the safety parlay. 6-1 in the last 7. The beacon of stability. The long-term accuracy of the safety parlay is insane. It's one of the most dependable bets in the most undependable. Nope, undependable is not a word. It's one of them. Here we go. That was me in reverse. It is one of the most dependable bets. Nope. It is one of the most predictable bets in the most unpredictable sport. But it's not just bets. Most of you are here for the bets. Some of you are here for the research and the insight. Some of you play DraftKings Fantasy. Some of you play FanDuel, Prize Picks, Underdog. And we have stuff for all of you. If you have never checked out the website or premium membership, first of all, it's $10. Get over yourself. It's $10. Okay? Nobody's sitting here being greedy with some $20 an event bullshit, some $100 a month nonsense from a foreigner. It is $10 a month. The reason it is $10, twofold. One, this is a volatile sport. Charging more than $10 for a sport like this is absolutely fucking asinine, and that person is a greedy thief piece of shit. 2, here in America, we have a store called Costco. Costco is a wholesale store. It's a giant store, and all they do, they sell literally everything. Food, clothing, machinery. You can buy a coffin, like literally anything. But you are 100% sure when you go into a Costco, you are getting an incredibly well-made product, a high-quality product at an incredible price. You never have to price check Costco because you know it is a great deal. And that's the model we are building here. $10 a month for everything. All the tools, all the picks, for everything. You know it's a phenomenal deal and a very good high-quality product. And if you could find anything in this space that is remotely close to what we're offering, I'll give it to you for free because it does not exist. You have a lot of weirdos pretending to be geniuses with Patreons. You got a lot of try-hard, wannabe famous dudes with spotlights yelling and screaming like buffoons. And then you have the massive companies. And even the massive companies can't compete with the boys. We have a fight simulator. This fight simulator takes every single fight on the card and it simulates it 100,000 times and it gives you the results of those simulations. We didn't invent the fight simulator. There's another one out there called Saber Sim. It's $100 a month, and it is no better. We have a tape index. Now, ESPN just shuffled a whole bunch of shit around on their website. I don't know if it's an indication of the UFC deal falling apart or what, but a lot of the historical fights that existed on ESPN Plus are no longer there. But if you want to do some of your own research, watch your own tape study. The tape index is constantly updated, constantly evolving, moving around, navigating the chaos that is other people's content. Under tools in the menu, click on tape index. You'll see a play button next to a specific fight. You click that play button, the video will pop up. We have a DraftKings optimizer. This will build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. And we have the industry first easy mode or beginner mode. Instead of you needing to know what all these crazy numbers are and how an optimizer works, it's just going to ask you a series of normal ass questions. And then you answer those questions like a normal person. And then it'll make those lineups for you. We have the safety parlay. We have Jacob's bets, Bet Sam's bets. We have an artificial intelligence. We have Artem breaking down regional cards at remarkable accuracy. The road to the UFC, there were bets on the board for the road to the UFC last night. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member. It's fucking $10 an entire month. The app is free, but if you are a premium member, you will get push notifications for the bets that we're placing and when we're placing them. You can access all the tools inside of the app. And you will have an entire month's worth of access. Every pick and bet for UFC Vegas 107. Every pick and bet for UFC 316. Every pick and bet for UFC Atlanta. Every pick and bet for UFC Baku. That's $2.50 a card. You just swallowed an Egg McMuffin whole. And then 2 hours from now, you'll be shitting yourself being like, why did I eat that Egg McMuffin? Well, if you spent the $10 on premium, A, you wouldn't have diarrhea, and B, you'd have access to all this for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Here's the address again. We'll be filming a vlog next weekend. If you want to be part of that vlog, send something. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406 in Prosper, Texas, 75078. Let's go ahead and open up the UFC Vegas 107 main card. There has been some shuffling. We have lost a few fights. Oban Elliott is without an opponent. I assume they'll give him an opponent in the coming days. And if they do, you'll get that breakdown on the live stream with Jacob or on the website. Under tools, you'll see raw notes. Raw notes is my entire breakdown, word for word. Somebody commented a few weeks ago, yo, is bro reading a script? Yeah, cheese dick, I am. It's my script. I write this. I'm reading my own words. And that's because I have to break down 12 fights. That is 24 different people. And I have to remember off the top of my head 24 different people, what happened in their last fight, how many strikes they landed. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I write this shit down. And then everything I write down also gets put on the website. For those of you who like to research, go back. You don't have to rewatch this video. You can see the notes right there written down with this graphic. It's under tools in the menu called Raw Notes. So we don't have an opponent for Oban Elliott right now. If we get one, and if it's before we film the video with Jakey Boy, then it'll be up, ready to go. Probably in the DraftKings video as well. If not, under tools, Raw Notes in the menu. Opening up the UFC Vegas 107 fight card, we have Zach Reese taking on Dusko Todorovic. Zach Reese is a big dude. These odds are starting to shrink, and they should be. Because, yes, he's a big dude. He's 6'4". He uses that size. He uses that strength. He's pretty well-rounded, mostly a powerful striker. He's a little inconsistent when he strikes, though, because he also has good grappling. And sometimes he wants to hang out on his back, throwing up triangles, pretending that he's going to win a jiu-jitsu world championship. He's too comfortable off of his back. So we have a guy that can knock you out on the feet with one punch, and a guy that can submit you on the ground. But he seems to not put those two things together. When he's striking, he's bombing. When he's on the ground, he's only doing jiu-jitsu. What he doesn't do is say, hey, I've got a big power advantage on the feet. Let me work back to the feet. I know I'm on the ground now. Let me work back to the feet. Instead, he plays the jiu-jitsu game. In the last two losses, one time he got power bombed, other time he got TKO'd because he's playing the fuck around jiu-jitsu game. But Zach Reese is dangerous everywhere, and he's massive for this weight class. He's taking on Dusko Todorovic. Dusko Todorovic is a technical striker. He, too, has some power. He's got some takedowns. He's got some offensive BJJ. He's a high-volume guy landing almost 6 significant strikes per minute, but there are definitely questions about his chin. He's coming off that big knockout loss to Mansour Abdul Malik at UFC Vegas 100. The one thing that really stresses me out here is the jiu-jitsu nerdery of Zach Reese. And it has screwed him in those 2 losses in the UFC. When he tried to play that game against Cody Brundage, he was power bombed. And I'm not even going to go to a WWE reference. I'm going to go to Ricardo Arona and Rampage Jackson. Rampage Jackson picked that dude up in a triangle, bashed him against the mat, unconscious, wins that fight. That is basically exactly what happened. Same bullshit, except not the powerbomb, happened in his last fight. Was fucking around a little too much. Azamat Bakoyev said grappling is for nerds and smoked him. The reality is, though, he's a massive dude. He's got powerful hands. You can't trust him to fight like an MMA fighter, but you can trust him to bomb on the feet. You can trust him to grapple on the ground. He should absolutely win this fight. I like that the odds are tightening. He was 3-1 the other day. He is now a little more than 2-1. So I'm going to keep watching these odds because Zach Reese is not an unbettable fighter. He's unbettable at 3-1, 4-1 odds. But if we're squeezing down to 2-1, all of a sudden it's a little more affordable. I wouldn't put him in 9 parlays like an idiot, but maybe 1. Then we have Dustin Jacoby taking on Bruno Lopez. Dustin Jacoby, as we've talked about many, many times before, he's a high-level striker, a professional kickboxer long before going to MMA. Then he went to MMA for a couple of fights, left to go back to kickboxing, and then now he's back. And he's been back for a little while now. He's going viral. He said in an interview that Alex Pereira is the hardest-hitting person he has ever fought in his entire life. His exact quote was, "It is ungodly power. I have never felt anything like that before." And that's because he fought Alex Pereira in kickboxing. And so that narrative is running rampant right now. Dustin Jacoby's a good technical striker. He'll work your legs. He's got decent power, 62% takedown defense, and that number is understated, meaning his takedown defense is better than the stats. He's got good takedown defense. He's got a good jab. He'll work the legs. He's a very busy striker. He's a pretty hard guy to have some success with on the feet, but he's also 37 years old. He is coming off that big knockout win over Vitor Petrino, where that was less about Dustin Jacoby having a great round and more about Vitor sprinting forward and Dustin just landing the perfect shot at the perfect time. He's taking on Bruno Lopez. Bruno Lopez is a forward pressure striker. He's got no problem with volume. He starts technical, he throws in combinations, and he can be sucked into just some sloppy-ass slug fight. He starts winging from the hip. He's a solid grappler as well. He's got decent takedowns, heavy top pressure, good ground and pound. He's coming off the decision win over Magomed Gadzhiesulov, where he had 5 takedowns. Those 5 takedowns were very important in that fight, but getting 5 takedowns against Dustin Jacoby is a problem. If Bruno Lopez was going to charge forward and just bomb away, and he had a great chin on him, Bruno Lopez is the pick 10 out of 10 times because Dustin Jacoby's chin isn't what it used to be. He's a little older. His timing isn't quite spectacular anymore. But what he does have, though, is high fight IQ and phenomenal takedown defense. So I do think Dustin Jacoby's probably going to work Bruno's legs, keep that jab busy, defend the takedowns, and likely win a decision here. We are in Las Vegas. So even if Bruno has some success holding Dustin against the cage, the judges won't give a shit. Judges do not care about wrestling in Las Vegas. So Dustin Jacoby is going to be a pick. This is another fight where I approve the line movement. Dustin was a pretty big favorite the other day. It is starting to tighten. He's still minus 180, but it's starting to shrink a little bit. Maybe he starts at minus 150. It closes, and then he'll be affordable. And you know what? Maybe we do a risky favorite parlay. Maybe we take Zach Reese, a risky favorite. Dustin Jacoby, a risky favorite. We put them together. I like to take my most confident picks together and my least confident, but still think they win picks together. I personally never bet on somebody I think loses. I know a lot of you chase value, that whole EV betting bullshit. I don't do that. To each their own. It's your money. You do what you want with it. But if I think somebody's going to lose, I'm not spending money on them. But if I think people are going to win, if they're risky, I'll take the risky ones and put them together. Because what I don't want to happen is somebody I'm 100% confident in, then I'll just, for the extra value, I'll slap them together with somebody I'm not as confident in, and then the not as confident one loses, my whole thing's fucked. Maybe Dustin and Zach for a not so confident plus money favorite parlay. Then we have a brand new matchup. Both of these guys were on the card. We had a switcherino here. The brand new matchup. Neither guy is on short notice. We have Billy Ray Goff taking on Ramiz Brahimaj. Goff's original opponent had visa issues, and because he is so exciting, and he's from Connecticut, and everybody loves the nutmeg state, they shuffled some things around to keep Billy Goff on the card, and they basically took Ramiz. They said, you're going to fight Billy. Fuck Oban Elliott. Maybe we'll find something for him. Maybe we won't. I don't know. They kicked that guy to the curb. So now Ramiz, who was already on this card, is fighting Billy Ray Goff, who was already on this card. And the odds, not looking very good for Ramiz Brahimaj. But Ramiz Brahimaj is an accomplished grappler. He doesn't use the grappling as much as he should, and even though he is an accomplished grappler, he does tend to hang out off his back. And grappling off your back is very different than getting takedowns and grappling off top. But the reality is, when Ramiz Brahimaj is on, he is on. He'll strike with some pretty solid power. He does have some success on the feet. Is it enough to win a fight outright? Not entirely. But if he gets it to the ground, there is some trouble because all 11 of his wins are by finish and 10 of them are by submission. He is definitely a finish or bust fighter at this point in his career. And in his last outing, he did get the finish with some early power in his hands. I would call that more of a fluke than an evolution. He's taking on Billy Ray Goff. Billy Ray Goff's a well-rounded guy. Clean boxing, solid clinch. He also has very good wrestling, very good grappling that he uses. If he gets into trouble, he'll catch a kick. He'll shoot a takedown. He'll make something happen on the ground. When he does get a takedown, he has incredible top control and pressure. He's got solid cardio. He will push a pace, and he is an absolute dog. He's coming off what felt like a bad decision. It looked like he won that fight against Trey Waters, and that fight was absolutely spectacular. I wish he was a little more active. I wish we saw him a little more recently, but I think we're still good here. I picked Goff before, and I'm going to pick him again here. He's an absolute dog, and as long as he doesn't play around on the ground recklessly, he should win this fight. He's the scrappier striker. He should be able to get his hands going, and even though he is listed at 100% takedown defense, he's defended one takedown. Like you can't trust the stat there. Sometimes the data is only good as the data. So 100% takedown defense from Billy Ray Goff isn't exactly something you can count on. I would like to assume that he's going to keep this fight standing, get his hands going. I would like to assume that the takedown defense is there. I've got great takedown defense. I'm from Connecticut, and so is he. So let's assume Billy Ray will have that dog in him, as we saw in his last fight. Let's assume he will keep this fight standing either A, through takedown defense, or B, by not shooting takedowns like an idiot. I'm riding with Connecticut here. I think Billy Ray Goff is going to win this fight. But what is bizarre to me is this seems like a much tougher fight than his original opponent. And Billy Ray was a lesser favorite against his original opponent. He was 2-1. He opened up against Ramirez as 5-1. Now he's bet down to 3-1. But this is a tougher fight. The other dude was not dangerous. Ramirez is dangerous. He has 11 finishes in his career. I'm going to pick Billy Ray Goff here, but something about this line makes no sense to me at all. Now, if he was minus 150, which is what I think he should be, he's pretty inactive. He's pretty unproven, but he is an absolute dog. He should be minus 150. Minus 325 just seems way too crazy for me because Ramirez is dangerous. He's only dangerous at one thing, but he is dangerous. Then we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Mateusz Gamrot taking on Leavitt Klein. Leavitt Klein seems to be a lot of people's underdog of the week. The consensus in the comment section seems to be a lot of Leavitt's going to win this fight. But the comments and the betting lines don't quite line up, which tells me most of you don't fucking bet, you lying weasel bitches. Because if you guys were betting as much as you were commenting, the line wouldn't do what it's doing. If you don't know how lines work, a human being sets the original line. It's usually one book, Tom's or whatever the hell it is. They set the line. Then all the other sports book grab that line. They publish it. Once they publish a line that was set by a human using their brain, money comes in, right? You bet on somebody, I bet on somebody, money comes in. And then a computer takes over. Depending on where the money's going, the line will move automatically from a computer. So for Mateusz Gamrot to go from minus 140 the other day to minus 160 means people are betting on Mateusz and the computer is moving that line. So all the people running on and on, getting their mouth going about Leavitt wins, Leavitt wins. Well, you're not putting your money where your mouth is because if you did, the line would go the other way. You got Mateusz Gamrot. Nasty wrestler, decent striking, diverse set of attacks. He does not have good power on his feet, and he's not even dangerous on the ground. But what he does, though, is set a great pace. He stays in your face. The striking is technical, but his chin, he gets dropped in every single fight. And he'll shoot a million takedowns. He's got plenty of cardio, no control. You can stand up on Mateusz. And if he does take you down, you don't have to worry about anything. He's not going to finish you. He's just going to take you down, hold you. You're going to stand up and shoot another takedown. Mateusz Gamrot is busy. He stays in your face. He's got great wrestling, technical striking. But again, he's not dangerous at all. He's been dropped in 6 of his last 10 fights, including against Dan Hooker. They didn't register it as a knockdown, but I promise you, go rewatch that fight. He fucking got dropped in that fight too against Daniel Hooker. He's taken on Leavitt Klein. Leavitt Klein's a very good striker. He's smooth, he's fast, he's accurate. He does a really nice job keeping his fights technical, hiding kicks behind his jab. He never throws anything lazy. He never gets out of position. He's got a solid 90% takedown defense, which will be tested in this fight. And he will even offensively wrestle if he needs to. He's coming off that win over Roosevelt Roberts, where he was a minus 1,000 favorite, and despite seeing the fast and the power, we didn't see that killer instinct. He should have smoked that dude. And yes, he did win, but he was expected to take that guy's head off. Anytime I break down a Mateusz Gamrot fight, it's just, can he get the takedowns, yes or no? And last time I broke him down, I sat here in front of this computer. I took my notes, the notes I'm reading right now, and I picked Mateusz Gamrot. I said, you know what? He's going to be desperately shooting. Dan Hooker is such an absolute savage dog that he's just going to stand up. Gamrot's not dangerous, so he's not going to finish Hooker. And then on the feet, Hooker's got the power, and Gamrot gets dropped. And so then I texted that to people. I picked Hooker and Kai Kara France, and I texted it to people. I said, guys, I'm picking a lot of dogs on this card. And I was met with laughing emojis, shit emojis, making fun of me. Good luck. So I succumbed to peer pressure. Turns out I was right, and they're the fucking idiots. Not doing that again. This could be the Dan Hooker fight all over again, especially in Las Vegas, because Las Vegas, as I've said many times before, doesn't care about your wrestling, especially a wrestler like Gamrot who doesn't do anything. If you get a takedown and you're elbowing and you're striking, you're looking to finish on top, Las Vegas does care. Because the only thing Vegas cares about is damage and trying to get a finish. And you know what? I don't like that personally. I think the wrestling does matter. If you want to stay standing and I'm able to get you to the ground, I did something you didn't want me to do. You suck, not me. But that's not the era we're in right now. Certainly not in Las Vegas. So if we have a fight where Mateusz Gamrot's going to get takedowns, but do nothing with them because he never does in any fight that he's in, and he's taking on somebody like Leavitt Klein who will be striking, who will likely bloody up Gamrot a little bit, who will be looking for a finish, I think Gamrot might lose a split decision here, and Leavitt Klein can sneak one out. So Leavitt Klein is going to be the pick, and you know what? Everybody's going to keep betting on Gamrot, and these odds are going to widen, then maybe I will throw some money on Leavitt Klein. So Leavitt Klein is going to be the pick. If this was not in Las Vegas, I may have a different sentiment, a different tune here, but it is in Las Vegas. And again, they don't give a shit about your takedowns that do nothing, and that really is what Mateusz Gamrot is. I've been high on Gamrot for many, many years. I still am high on him. I think he's a phenomenal wrestler. I would love to see him versus another phenomenal wrestler, but we're going to get him versus a striker, and if he can't get this fight in the ground and stay in the ground, Gamrot might be the new Garam. Look what happened to Garam. Everybody talked about how phenomenal he was. And then you get some well-rounded athletic people and he's fucking dog shit. Gamrot's not that because it's much harder to stop his takedowns than it is to just be a better striker than Garam is. But this is a very good main event. It matters for this division. I'm looking forward to it, but I will be picking Leavitt Klein. Then we have the main event of the evening. Here's some line movement that I agree with. Erin Blanchfield was like minus 180. She is now minus 235. She might end up minus 400 come fight night. We got Erin Blanchfield defending her spot in the rankings against Macy Barber. Erin Blanchfield, number 4 in the world. Macy Barber, number 5 in the world. And this fight matters very much. People always bitch about the women's main events. And I get it. Some of these lady fights are not very exciting. But both of these women are pretty fun fighters. Erin Blanchfield's going to come forward with reckless abandon. She doesn't give a shit what you're smacking her in the face with because she wants to get it to the ground. Macy Barber is technical. She's fast. She's a striker. So this could be a very fun fight. And again, it matters for the division. You get number 4 in the world versus number 5 in the world. This matters. They're the highest ranked fighters on this fight card. So why wouldn't they be the main event? Number 4, there is not a number 4 in the world in any weight class on this fight card outside of Erin Blanchfield. And there's not a number 5 in the world in any weight class outside of Macy Barber. The next highest ranked person is Gamrot, and I think he's like 8 or 9. So this is our main event, and I'm down for it. I also think Erin Blanchfield wins this fight. She's a grappler. She comes forward. She's going to grind, stay in your face. She is basically Mackenzie Dern. What's Mackenzie Dern? A very good grappler who has mediocre takedowns, mediocre striking, but absolutely tough as shit. Erin Blanchfield is Mackenzie Dern. Her grappling is not as good as Mackenzie's, but her striking is way better. Look at the significant strike count. She lands 5.24. There is no striking defense. Her face gets lit up, but she doesn't care. She is insanely tough. She stays in your face. She pressures forward. She is coming off that bounce back win over Rose Namajunas where she had takedowns. She had 2 takedowns against the former world champion with 9 minutes of control. If she takes you down, you don't get up. She's taking on Macy Barber. Macy Barber's a good striker. She's got good boxing. She's got improved wrestling. She's not a grappler in style, but she does have some well-timed takedowns if she needs them. She likely will not be using them in this fight. So what she's probably going to be in this fight is on her bicycle, trying to keep Erin at bay, pushing the face, working the body, trying to get the hands going. She has been taken down 12 times in the UFC, including once in her last fight. She's coming out that decision win over Ketlen Chikagian now, Caitlin Seminara, where the striking was clean, and so were the takedowns. I think Macy Barber is a tricky matchup here, but I still think Erin Blanchfield's going to win. Because although people are going to complain about this matchup and with women in the main event, the reality is Erin Blanchfield was this close to fighting for a title. She lost to Manon Fiorot because Manon is a giant. And we saw Manon take Valentina Shevchenko right to the edge, and some people think she won that fight. It's an interesting matchup because both women are tough. Both of them are well-rounded. But it is definitely a clash of style. Obviously, Barber wants to be the busy striker. Blanchfield wants to just get in her face and get this to the ground by any means necessary, and I think she does that. Macy Barber is basically Rose Namajunas. A little younger, but she's basically Rose Namajunas. Good striking, well-rounded. And Erin had no issues with Rose. Came forward, got the takedowns when she wanted them. Tons of control on top. I don't think Macy Barber, who had some wild health issue. I'm pretty sure like 4 months ago, Macy Barber was like about to retire because she had like a bone infection or a blood disease, something insane. So I don't even know what her physical health and well-being is here. Erin Blanchfield is the pick. And I think these minus 235 odds are still pretty good right now. Likely going to be minus 400 come fight night. Guys, that is the breakdown. If you like the video, if you like Big Ange, support us. Like, subscribe. These stats on YouTube tell me that 80,000 different people watch our videos, right? You get the stats. It says how many views you get. And we get anywhere, obviously with a week off, it's not great. But we get anywhere from 350,000 to 500,000 unique views a month. Unique meaning if you watch the same video 4 times, it doesn't count 4 times. Unique views a month, a rolling 28 days. And then it says 80,000 of those 500,000 views are returning viewers. But we don't have 80,000 subscribers, do we? Which means a good portion of you haven't clicked the subscribe button. And it actually doesn't matter. In modern YouTube, the number of subscribers you have means quite literally nothing. It's the most insignificant stat. And people get hung up on how many subscribers they have. And I do too, because it matters for my mental health, but it doesn't matter for anything else. Total views is the only number that matters. There are many channels that have 150,000 subscribers that don't do shit for views. So views matter. And we got a ton of them and I love it. But God damn it, I would be lying if I told you I was not obsessed with watching that subscriber count go up. I'm obsessed with it. It's not healthy, but I'm not very healthy. What is healthy, though, is how great that app is. Go to the App Store, search Me One Picks, download the app, make sure push notifications are turned on so you can be notified anytime we place a pick or a bet. Inside of the app, you'll have access to the tools. One of those tools is the Fight Simulator. This will simulate fights 100,000 times. It takes every fight. It brings in historical grappling stats, historical striking stats, and it simulates the fights. Then you're going to get 2 different outputs. One, the data based off of the simulations. I just did a prize pick and an underdog video for the last event. And we went to the simulator. And the simulator told me how many prize picks, fantasy points Michael Morales was going to score. And it was correct. And then we did the same thing with underdog. And it was correct. The Fight Simulator is also going to give you a DraftKings fantasy output. You can build DraftKings fantasy lineups from it. You also will have access to the tape index. This is going to give you every fight for every fighter and access to their fights. You'll see the fights. You'll see the results, some high-level information. If you click the little red play button, the video will pop up. You can watch the video. We also have a DraftKings optimizer. This will also build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. And if you know how to use an optimizer, great. It does everything you expect it to do. And if you don't know how to use an optimizer, just toggle the beginner mode button and it'll just ask you questions. Instead of expecting you to know the numbers, it'll just say, who do you think's good? Who do you think sucks? It's obviously not using those words, but you get the point. Then we have a data analyzer. What the data analyzer allows you to do is use all the data available for these fighters and their fights, and then filter that data, stack them. I want to see how many strikes this person lands and decision wins, because I know they're going to win a decision. And I have a significant strike line with DraftKings, so let me see what those numbers are. And the data will tell me if I should bet the over or the under. You can add, remove all sorts of filters. You can stack them on top, and this chart will live update for you. And then the little plot point, you hover over it, you'll see the judges, how they scored each round. You'll see where the fights were, the results, all that. You click the button, just like the tape index, video pops up, things are ready to go. We also have a tool called the Line Movement Tracker. This will give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. We have a Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And we have more than just my beautiful face. We have a couple of foreigners and a robot picking fights as well. The foreigners are giving you road to the UFC bets and picks and content. The robot is just straight picking fights based off historical data. Every single thing I just mentioned, 10 things I did not mention, available right now at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. It's only $10 an entire month. Thank you for the watch, guys. I hope you had a very nice week off, and I look forward to getting back into the swing of things.